Hello, WikiTreeers. Welcome, welcome. My name is Sandy, and I am incredibly honored to moderate the team chat that you see here. Our team members, as well as Chris Whitten, the man behind WikiTree, who we are celebrating today, our 17th anniversary. So, welcome. And I would like Awen to announce and show our newest member to WikiTree. Brand new member, just joined.
I'm very, very excited to introduce you to Newton.
Newton.
Yay!
Newton. He's a handsome fellow.
He's our new mascot, Newton.
Okay, so the question is next, and I know it's going to be very popular. How do I get my own Newton?
You don't?
Well, actually, Newton is not custom made. He is
No,
off
he's
the
not.
shelf, but not made anymore. So you got to go on eBay and find your own Newton.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've
I don't
given
know
us.
if they call him Newton on eBay.
Right. No, he's
No.
an orange nude of some sort.
Yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and share with everybody the team page. If you have not been here already, this is a page that includes all the members of WikiTree team. And some are here with us and some could not be here with us. There's a lot of illness going around, as we see. And I've got a surprise for some of you. I don't know if the team members know this or not, but I have a secret little pal on WikiTree that I asked to do me a very big favor and to tell me how you guys are connected and related, just like we do on Connection Checkers.
How fun.
Oh, that's cool. How fun is that?
And a big, massive thank you to Ian Bacall, my little special friend out there who helped me get this. This is hard-coded in on the team page. And I wanted to surprise you guys with something a little fun to start off the team chat. So I'll let you guys look at this a little bit later. And the only thing I can say is as you add more profiles to WikiTree, those numbers will change. And if you're familiar, if that's a familiar look, that is something that has been programmed in for our featured connections that happen every Tuesday. They come up. So that's also how we see our featured profiles are connected to each other and to you. So a little fun. Let's go ahead and get started because we have a very, very busy hour. I promise I will try to keep it to the hour, but we might go just a little bit over because the information is so good. The questions are fantastic. And let's start with Mr. Whitten. Can you describe WikiTree to someone who's never heard of it in one sentence? That's the challenge.
One sentence. Well, I should be able to do this with mission statement. It's a single collaborative family tree that's dedicated to being accurate and free forever so that we can all share it.
And that's it. That's it in one sentence in a nutshell. But I'm going to ask you to expand with more sentences. How did WikiTree become an idea, a thought?
Well, if we go back 20 years to 2005, I started doing my family tree again after having done it a little bit as a kid with my grandmother and my great aunt. I came back to it because I wanted to organize my family and my fiance's family for our wedding so that we would have it all in order and we'd be able to share it with other people and maybe get some information because we'd be seeing some people we don't always see. So I wanted them to be able to contribute. So I put that all together on a website and had that there for the wedding. And so that was the nugget of it. And at the time I was working on another wiki. It was a question and answer wiki. And that was my business at the time. And when that business was sold and I was able to retire from it, I decided that I wanted to work on this WikiTree and make it something that it could be, not just for my own family, but for everybody. Because it really occurred to me that families are these overlapping circles. It's not that my family could easily be contained or my wife's family now that they started to connect. then I really started to see how all families connect.
I think you just described how all of us came to WikiTree. We wanted to document our family. This is our legacy. This is our work that we do, and it's free on WikiTree. So thank you. Okay, now I've got a couple questions for everybody. These are a couple warm-up questions to get us started. So anybody that would like to answer, please do. What sets WikiTree apart from these other genealogy websites? And I just got to pause real quick before anybody answers and mention that at Roots Tech this year, we were just randomly sitting there talking, and Julie goes, "You know what? The honor code. It's the honor code. That's the part. We're the only ones that have something like that."
It's true.
And that honor code has not changed since it was created in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, it's been the same.
I'm very proud of that.
We were talking about it.
Signed the same one.
We were talking about it in the cubicle party, the birthday bash that we started this morning, that the honor code isn't something strenuous. It isn't something that's really challenging or difficult. It's about kindness, and it's about things that we would want for our research sources and working together. It's also, we have one tree. So when you go to some other sites, my grandmother isn't listed in 1 million different trees. We have one tree, and we work together as a group. And how important is collaboration?
I mean, it's pretty necessary, I would say, on our tree. It's kind of the heart of all of it. I was going to say one of the things that does set us apart is the community of WikiTree. Like, I don't know where else you'd find anything like what we have here, and that's very, very much centered around collaboration.
And it's evolved from the first start that Chris had, and look where we are now. And Chris, could you ever imagine that very first start and where we're at now with all the technology that you've added?
Well, not in 2005. That's not what I imagined. By 2008, sort of, except that I didn't think it would take 17 years to get where we're at now. Not that I could imagine, like most of what WikiTree is. So I guess there are different ways to answer this question and look at it. But I envisioned a collaborative single family tree with, millions of people working together.
I think for me, that was pretty groundbreaking at the time. So that's really great. Okay, now I've got a question for whoever would like. What is this concept of the team? What does that mean? Because, we do have teams in our projects and things like that. But when we talk about the team of WikiTree entirely, what does that mean? What are the roles? And why do we need a team in this open community?
So I'll take that, at least to start. So yeah, most of WikiTree is all volunteer, right? And in a sense, it's got 1 million volunteers who have contributed something. The team members are the people who do things that people don't want to do for free, or that you just can't get away without being done, or that for legal and liability reasons, there needs to be under US law, some sort of professional relationship, because team members are technically sysops, meaning they have access to everything on the database. So privacy is one of the most important things on WikiTree, but every team member has to be trusted, with that.
A lot of responsibility comes with team. And let me ask everybody, what does it being on team mean to each of you? And what is the most rewarding aspect? Who'd like to start?
Just working with everybody.
Oh, that's sweet.
Wonderful feeling being part of a team that is creating such a wonderful site. And as Chris said, it's really the users who are doing most of the work. We just really come in to do some of the difficult bits that Chris would do with the technical side with his team there, and the rest of us with other bits and pieces that we do. But We work together. We talk occasionally when we come across areas which perhaps we don't know so much about, and we all have our own little areas that we deal with.
I think we all have our strengths that we focus on as a team member. And my favorite thing is just being able to help people get things, pointed in the right direction, help them find what they need to get their, the project leaders get their projects going in the right direction. Or I worked with the conflict escalation process for a long time, and now Betsy's doing that. And it was just very gratifying to be able to say, if you're having a problem, you don't have to handle this by yourself. We have people that will help you. So that kind of thing is just very, very gratifying.
I think one of the cool things is that we've been a team for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Betsy's our newest, but I think Betsy, you're at what, 2 years?
Not quite.
Almost
a little
2
over
years?
a year, about almost a year and a half.
I think a lot of us, it's been close to a decade that a lot of us have worked on this team. So
Paul has got to be more than that. I think Paul
was right before or right after me.
Oh, a month or so before you.
Yeah.
Wasn't very, you were very close.
giving him seniority.
Yeah, by a month.
You
there
win.
go.
You win, Paul.
Yeah, I can lay it over all of you. There you go.
Well, and I want to mention too that if you think about the jobs that you've held in your own life and outside of WikiTree, some of your jobs, we see management change a lot. And Aaron just brought up something that's very important, that the core team have been working together for extremely long time. I did post up the link if everybody would like to meet the team, the entire team, because we have some missing members here, and when they joined WikiTree, and also how long they've been team members and exactly what they do for us, then go check out that link as well. And Betsy.
Yeah. So as Julie mentioned, well, what I do is support our functional projects, our mentors, our mediators, moderators, greeters, and rangers. And I really enjoy supporting WikiTree in a very structured way that my team role requires. And I also have to say it's incredibly inspiring to me to have gotten to know each of the members of those projects, and they are so dedicated to what they're doing, and it just spurs me on and makes me want to do everything that I can to facilitate what they're doing. It's unique, the model we have.
I agree. It's a great community that we have out there. And you mentioned greeters. So I'm just going to do another quick shout out. You guys are going to hear me shout out greeters all day long because WikiTree Week has brought in a lot of new members. And so the project leader of the Greeters Project, one of them is Pip Shepard. And Pip has been around for quite a long time as well. How many hours do each of you spend doing teamwork? Do you sleep?
What's 24?
What is sleep?
What's 24 times 7?
Where's Greg? We need math.
I say most of the time that I'm on WikiTree. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think anybody should answer that question because then they're going to realize how little they get paid for the hours.
I'm working the dream. Don't worry.
Okay, let's talk a little bit then behind the scenes, and let's move over to behind the scenes in a little bit of tech, because this is an extremely popular area to talk about, the tech of WikiTree, especially probably this morning. So what technologies power WikiTree?
WikiTree was built from a fork of the MediaWiki software that was created for Wikipedia. So the state of that software, 15 years ago, we then started changing. So it's very different from Wikipedia and what you see on other wikis now. We built on top of it everything custom. Technically speaking, I mean, it's Linux. It's this LAMP stack, they call it. which is just conventional for the internet these days, and it's run at AWS, the Amazon, which again is like it runs 60% of the internet these days. So it's mostly pretty typical, beyond that MediaWiki kernel. I should say, as far as this technology goes, the line between what we now clearly define as the core and what are apps and what's independently developed, has become more defined. And for years we struggled with how we could involve independent volunteer developers in the technology of WikiTree, right? Because from the start, the tree was collaborative, but the technology wasn't. And we were always kind of afraid to make it fully open source because privacy is so important, and that would just put a greater burden on ourselves to keep things private, because it's like we'd be showing how we do it, which is not a security strategy, security through obscurity, it's called. But still, to make it easier for hackers wouldn't be wise. And then number two, it wasn't open source because there have been a couple times when people would have forked it to start their own wiki trees. And we didn't want to encourage that, because it really is meant to be one world tree. Like, whereas many wikis like Wikipedia, can have a German version and a Dutch version and what have you, that are totally independent communities. WikiTree was always meant to be one community where we work together on profiles from around the world. So we didn't want it forked again. So that core we've maintained as something that isn't totally open source. But the sacrifice of this is we've always had developers who wanted to contribute as volunteers. And so a few years ago, we started really figuring out how that could happen. So we've had what we now call tree apps and the collaborative browser extension. We call it the collaborative browser extension because for years before that, there were separate browser extensions. Like, one developer would create an extension and another developer would create another. And so Ian Bacall leads this effort heroically, but it's all open source, and it's done in a way that other developers can help him, can add their own features, and can keep it alive if someday he isn't able to. So
truly is amazing.
All independent, all open source.
The technologies that went from when I started in 2014 to today, the tree apps, the extensions that are available by volunteers is astounding. And again, I want to remind everybody, WikiTree is free. So it's truly amazing. Okay, so since you mentioned Chris, thank you for leading me into my next question. How do you decide which features or updates to prioritize? Now, I'm going to pause for a second and say you just launched a very popular request, the biological, non-biological parents, a feature on WikiTree. And I know that's been around for a while, and you've been working on it. So how do you decide which features to prioritize? This is a tough one.
It is a tough one. That's exactly right. Prioritization is really my job. And I mean, in a way, like you could just say that's what I do. Like, prioritization is my team role. Because it's not easy. You're constantly dealing with emergencies and unexpected problems. The last couple of years, we have had so many emergencies caused by this new generation of AI scrapers. They're changing the internet. A lot of people don't know this, but the way these LLMs are being fed by content that they're just taking from the internet, they're doing it in such a way that is incredibly rude, actually illegal. The Chinese are the worst. Most of our traffic is from China right now, until like we have no legitimate users in China, or maybe like a half dozen legitimate WikiTreeers. And unfortunately, they were just closed out, like, because we could not contain the Chinese problem. And it got so bad that a majority of our traffic was coming from China, that as of last week, China is blocked completely because we just can't. We couldn't get a handle on it in any other way. So dealing with emergencies like these, can frequently just mess with your priorities, and things have to be reprioritized. More broadly speaking, it comes from the mission. We have a clear mission statement that was established 17 years ago and has never changed. So that's what it flows from. A lot of times what users want, isn't necessarily what's most important, or users are seeing their perspective and not the big picture. We need to make this site pay for itself, be sustainable for the long term. We can't undertake a lot of expensive things, technically speaking. We have made many sacrifices over the years to keep the core simple, so that when I'm gone, when the other engineers that currently operate WikiTree are gone, it can be operated by others relatively cheaply. It has to be done inexpensively. And so running a site of our size inexpensively, not just seeking to do everything we possibly could do, or that somebody wants, or that might help us grow faster, or make money, is a constant struggle. So balancing these priorities, that's what I do all the time.
And then when you add in, as you mentioned, the challenges that take you away from the priorities, from the feature requests, to keep us safe, the site safe, our work safe, it's a lot.
And another shout out to the independent developers, Ian and Rob Pavey and Greg and all, the developers who are doing things now, is that has worked so well for users in some ways, like the advanced power users, like you, Sandy, who have these requests. We used to have to balance and prioritize some of those things, even though they were really only of interest to, a small segment of users who are our most important power users. So like Sandy, you're one of the most important community members. And if you just want this one feature that does, connections for the team to appear here, like that's something that never would have made it into the queue.
It wouldn't have. And I got to say that the three that you mentioned, and there are dozens more, they are so kind. They are always willing to hear, to help, to debug, because, we're all human. And it's amazing. And thank you for recognizing those.
And I shouldn't start naming names because,
there's a lot.
Others. But that has worked really well to help with priorities. So we can now keep the core simpler, cheaper, easier to operate. And we also make this division then, your new users, because that's always been attention to, is what the power user, what the advanced WikiTree member wants is different from the person who first comes to the site. And the more you add to the Christmas tree, the more ornaments you add, the more it's overwhelming and complex for the person who just comes to the site, like Newton. So in the core, we have to think about Newton and how they're going to see the site. It's already so complex. It's already, there are so many challenges to understanding what WikiTree is and how it works. So the fact that now, we can segment things into, you need to turn on the browser extension and you need to turn on this option in the browser extension. It's just so elegant. It works perfectly and it takes such a burden off the core.
It really does. And you're, again, helping me out by leading me into the next point. And I think you've touched on these. The top challenges come from maintaining, managing WikiTree. We've got privacy that we have to protect. And as you said, the AI scrapers are coming in at a level that was probably unexpected and now unprecedented. And it's only going to get worse as we go through, probably.
Yeah, it's making the free internet harder to maintain. It really is. Like it's challenging that whole model of being able to let anyone access free content. because it's being just abused so much.
And then let's go ahead and talk something positive here. So what is something new and exciting that the team has been working on recently? And some of it might have been launched yesterday.
Yay!
Yeah, the biological parents
Yeah.
edition, that's something we've wanted to do, for many years. Took a long time to figure out with the community how to do it. That's part of our process is that we, everything evolves as organically as possible from the community. So figuring out the right way to do that, took a long time, and then the development of it took a long time. And so yeah, just thrilled to have that out. One thing we've been working on behind the scenes for a long time is a partnership with Family Search, where all of WikiTree is going to be kept in sync with Family Search. So they will have a backup if WikiTree ever goes dark. So many people know how important a part of our mission is protecting the tree, making sure it's always available and always free, no matter what happens to the website or the organization. We want that tree to survive. So Family Search is helping us with that. Family Search is also going to be able to make it easier for people on Family Search to find WikiTree profiles. And we're going to be able to make record hints from Family Search. So the same way, that Family Search can show you, well, this might be the same, person in this census record. We're going to be able to do that at some point.
That is fantastic. That is I hope everybody heard that. That is a huge advantage. That's fantastic.
But I mentioned this is all a secret and should not be mentioned.
So don't say anything.
Don't tell anybody, guys.
This is just between us, okay?
64 people who are watching need to.
Okay, if anybody finds out it was Newton that spilled the beans.
No.
Well, I've got a question for everybody. What is your favorite feature that is currently here on WikiTree?
I'll go first,
please.
Because we've already said it many times. I'm so happy about the biological adopted feature. Like, I was thinking about it, and I don't know if you can understand if you're not, adopted or in a situation like that, but it's just weird. You have these two separate places where you kind of exist on WikiTree, and now I can exist in one. Mm-hmm. And it's such a nice to just be able to toggle between the two lines. There's other sites that kind of have that option, but it's so beautifully done on WikiTree now. It's so easy. It's just right there. Like, that's my favorite feature.
Because we're family historians, right? So we have more than just our biological family as we go through. And WikiTree just gave us this option. And I'm beyond thrilled. Who would like to go next?
I like your relationship finder. I think, I don't have a favorite feature. I just like the whole big thing. But that is by far one of the biggest draws, in my opinion, that brings people, and you can look and see, like how you're connected. And then the way the community uses it to verify connections and all of that just makes it very valuable when you're trying to do accurate genealogy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll go next.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, you.
Okay. I really like the content. I mean, like Julie, it's very hard to pin down a favorite, but if today, at this moment, I was thinking about content rankings, which is a new feature that was introduced, I guess, over the summer. And that is just such a good guide. My watch list is big enough that I can't keep track of everybody in my head. So if I sort by content rank, it's a really nice jog to me, a nudge to me to know who I might have been neglecting, who needs a little more work, research. So I'm having fun with that feature.
You know, that's a really good answer, because we were also talking about that in the kickoff today, in the birthday bash earlier. I gave a challenge to everybody. Go to your first 10 profiles you ever created on WikiTree and take a look at them. See if you can update them, because I know I can. And Paul, how about you?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of nice features. Probably one I find best is the browser extension, which you can set the way things work a little bit differently. I find a lot of people prefer some of those ways it works with the extension that way. And also the relationship part, I find as a big cemetery worker, cataloguing a lot of cemeteries, I love the fact that you can go to a category page for a cemetery and find out how you're related to everybody in that cemetery. I've found quite a few other cousins that way, so it's quite awakening when you do that.
I am thrilled to know that you're also a little addicted to going to cemetery categories and clicking that My Connection button to see how you relate to dead people. I do that as well.
In Australia, we've got a small team. I've got a couple of others working with me, but I'd say we've probably created well over a couple of 100,000 profiles so far for Australia. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing work. And this is a good time to mention we're global. WikiTree is global.
Yeah.
Sandy?
I don't know the situation in most other countries, but here in Australia, it's certainly I've created an awful lot of profiles through the cemetery work, yes.
Sandy, Azure answered in the chat.
Oh, let's get Azure's answer. And Azure was not feeling well today, so we wish her a speedy recovery. Let me see. I'm looking.
Hang on.
I got it. I can show it.
There we go. Favorite feature of the community. And as you know, Azure has the community of social media. And I call it a community because you cannot imagine the amount of work that is done for social media. I was applauding Azure the other day for every post that she's done, just for this one panel here. She has to spend an incredible amount of time posting on every single social media site, G2G, Discord, in multiple Discords, multiple G2G posts, just this one panel here. So imagine the entire WikiTree week, and imagine all the work she does outside of WikiTree week promoting WikiTree. So we can get new members to help us break down brick walls, help us with our community, help us volunteer, maybe some new, as we've been talking about, app developers and such. So Azure, speedy recovery. We miss you for this one. Okay, let me ask you, why WikiTree? Where's this name coming from? Anybody want to answer? Chris?
That's a Chris question.
At first, like in 2007, WikiTree was the intuitive name for it, for me, from my perspective. But I asked a lot of other people, like, is this going to make any sense to you? Does that seem like a good name, or should we just come up with something like completely different? And most people said we should have something completely different.
Really? That's interesting.
Works for me.
I think it's very intuitive to what it is. It's a wiki of a family tree.
I agree.
If you really understand what a wiki is, I think it is intuitive. Yeah. And I think one interesting story is when Family Search was recreating the Family Search tree. So the Family Search tree, as you know it now, was being created at about the same time as WikiTree, actually a little bit later. So their collaborative tree, as you know it now, internally they called it their WikiTree. Like that's what they were calling it. Because to them, that was intuitive, like to call that a WikiTree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot of questions when I say WikiTree, and we promote out. We talk to our historical societies and online, and they go, "Is that Family Search?" And I go, "No, this is completely different. This is a larger community working within each other." So I think that might be a little lesser known fact about WikiTree's history that you just told us, that you had a name and other people were thinking of different names, but do you have any other quirky little fun facts about WikiTree's history or technology you'd like to share? He's shaking his head no.
No.
The rest of us can't answer that. So
No, I think, I mean, you guys have been on the team for like over 10 years. So, you know, as far as the history, you know a lot of it as well as I do.
I can't think of anything quirky. I mean, I think as a whole, compared to other genealogy sites, WikiTree is quirky. I mean, we have a really great community here of people that 99% of the time things run smoothly, you know, and it's just very unique among genealogy sites. Maybe that's why I feel like it's quirky.
I think you're right, Julie, because if you look at the web in general, overall, you know, working together most of the majority, overwhelming time is quirky these days, right? Okay, well, let's move on to some things that I know a lot of us have ventured into probably a month or two after we joined WikiTree, and that's projects. So while we talk about the projects, if everybody would like to do a shout out to their project in the chat, please feel free. Show your pride of your project. So let's talk about the community and the projects that are involved. When I'm a new member, I'm still trying to learn the ropes. I'm listening and reading the honor code. I'm adding myself, my parents, my grandparents. But what do you think makes the WikiTree community itself? Why are we different and unique from all the other genealogy places that anybody could pick? They come to WikiTree.
The community, this kind of answers the previous question too. WikiTree has evolved with its community organically from ground zero. You know, like if somebody was to see what WikiTree was in 2007, you know, it's nothing like it is today. And so maybe this partially answers, like, you know, your first question about envisioning the future. And so, you know, I think some people will come to something and they'll think, oh, like, you know, the creators of this, they just, you know, created it and released it. But that's not what this is. It's not how it's happened. You know, it has happened over 17 years, one little step at a time. The technology and the community culture have all evolved together. And so we have this unique and incredibly special community culture, which I think is our most valuable asset and what makes WikiTree special, because it has evolved from the community, you know, one step at a time, organically.
And Chris, as we move on to talking about projects was not around at the very beginning of WikiTree, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was years, like, you know, so it's not like we're talking about, you know, January 2008 or something, we had projects. You know, it was probably 2 years after the start of WikiTree before we had projects. And it was only because, you know, it became very clear that there were so many duplicate profiles of European aristocrats. Euro-Aristo was the first project. It was these European aristocrats that were just so frequently duplicated. And you had, you know, these leading members at the time who couldn't keep up, and it became very clear that we needed to, you know, collaborate in a different way on these profiles and elaborate and establish style rules and slow down, you know, in certain aspects.
So when you have success, that's when you start to learn processes need to be in place. So are there any community projects that have been surprised or inspired you? And this is an open question to each of you.
I think it's been mentioned, like the mentors and mediators and greeters. You know, you gave a shout out to the greeters. There are so many projects that I still cannot understand why members are willing to do this. You know, like the orphan trails, you know, projects with orphan trails that involve this one-on-one assistance, which is so wonderful and so special, but I still don't quite get it. It's like I wouldn't have the patience for that. And I would never have foreseen that or expected it or, planned on it. So the fact that so many of those things, have emerged, that's really surprised and inspired me.
Can I give my perspective?
Please.
When I first came on to WikiTree back in the day, there was no, I'm not going to say there was nobody here. There were very few people here relative to now. And I was inspired by the seasoned genealogists who were so willing to share their knowledge and to teach the rest of us how to do good genealogy, because I knew nothing when I came on here. And I was one of those people that today somebody probably would have said, I think she needs a little help.
Those first 10 profiles, I'm telling you.
Yeah. But I do remember, I think it was Liz Shiflett that popped onto my profile one day and left a comment that said, it was just so kind. And she said, you put such and such on this profile, but you might want to add like this and that. And she was just so nice about it. And it made me stop and go, I should go read the forum and figure out what everybody's doing so I can do this right. And it was just such a different way to work on something and learn how to do it properly. So that's my bit.
Anyone else want to share before we move on? They're good. Okay. Here's the tough one. And this is going to be a competitive question. I'm going to tell you now. We're going to get a lot of comments probably in the chat. What are the top 5 most viewed projects on WikiTree?
I have an actual answer to this one.
Please do.
Let me find it.
Where's the drum roll?
Let me know when you're ready to tell you.
We're ready.
All
We'll do
right.
a little drum roll here. We're ready. Newton?
Number 1 is the Puritan Great Migration Project. Number 2 is Data Doctors. Number 3 are one name studies. 4 are greeters, and 5 is notables.
Wow, that's surprising me.
I know. Steve pulled those numbers for me the other day, and we were like, "What? Okay, that's different."
I would
I'm
have thought
surprised about it.
First.
Which what?
I'm surprised about the Data Doctors, because that's like it's not an internal thing, but it's something that you would learn about after you'd been here for a while.
It's a little niche. Yeah.
Well, do we think that's views on the project homepage?
I think he pulled views on the project homepage.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
So there'd be a lot of different ways to do that. I think it'd be interesting to see like project managed profiles, like views on project managed profiles. DGM would still be really high.
Yeah, we were gonna do that, but he didn't want to put a drain on the server.
Well, and there's some projects that have a smaller amount maybe than a larger amount, but I can't even imagine what Notables. Notables has a bazillion, not a bazillion, but it feels like it, of project managed. But okay, so let's move forward, looking ahead, and let's talk a little bit about that. So what is on the horizon? Anything you can tease or hint? Now, I know you've given us a little bit about Family Search, but is there anything internal that you might want to tease or hint, or any collaborations that we're continuing or adding or anything like that?
I think everybody's already forgotten the Family Search thing. So
I have not. That's awesome. It's going to be a hint.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
No, like seriously, I think they want to announce it at Roots Tech, or they have, a media department and people with plans, and it's not even done yet. They don't even have the name for it yet. They have this working title, which real active Family Search users might know as the closed edit trees, the CETs, because there are some small ones in beta. But this one, our relationship will be different from what they're doing with others. And so anyway, enough about that. Everybody's forgotten. Our growing relationship with Family Tree DNA I'm really happy about and really excited about. We did some things some months ago, and we're circling back now and focusing on surname projects. And so WikiTree has these one name studies, which are an important part of WikiTree, but I think have been somewhat neglected. I think there's a lot more that we can do to support one name studies on WikiTree. And insofar as there are DNA projects, there are a lot of really dedicated family tree DNA users who are interested in surnames or other DNA projects. And so we're going to start making connections between the family tree DNA projects and their WikiTree counterparts, because in many cases it's the same, it's the same people who are involved in both, really.
Yeah.
That's what makes our partnership with FTDNA really sensible and possible. Is FTDNA appeals to the advanced genealogist, whereas the other DNA testing, the autosomal DNA testing, a lot of that just is these people who have this passing interest. Yeah, wonder what my ethnicity is, and they take a DNA test. The people at FTDNA taking these Y chromosome and DNA tests are serious genealogists, and if they even go further at FTDNA and are involved in the DNA project, those are our people.
I think that is a fantastic collaboration. As you said, those are some serious genealogists, and the ones that I've met on WikiTree were thrilled with this collaboration and can't wait to see it expand. So that's a great thing on the horizon. Okay, now let's have a little fun. I put you all on the spotlight. Let's have a little fun and let's get to know you, because guess what? You're team members, but you're also humans. You're just like us. You're family historians, right?
I'm an elf.
You're an elf.
And there's the new technically.
Yeah, there's the new. So as we wrap up this wonderful hour, so I asked this question because it was important to me to have people help me on WikiTree break down my personal brick walls. And I know that a lot of times we don't get to help you guys. So do you have genealogical brick walls, and can we help you with them?
I mean, I'll start. I have one that's been there forever. It's my Langhoff line. It goes back to Johann Peter Langhoff and his wife, Anna Charlotte Schmidt. Anna and all the kids came to America. Peter stayed in Prussia to fight in the war, is what we think. But I know nothing before that. There's some little town they probably came from, and I don't have any idea how to go farther on that line.
And I should mention, I'm going to ask Azure if she could add the brick walls to a Discord conversation so we can get this research party started as well. And who else has a brick wall? We all have them, right?
I'll go. Well, I mean, I have more than one, but I think the one that weighs on me most heavily is my Menzies line, coming over from Scotland, I believe from Perthshire. And my immigrating ancestor was Thomas Menzies 337. I just can't quite pinpoint where he came from. And the name is common enough that although Scottish baptismal records are pretty good, I can't be sure. And pinning on to that, his son Andrew Menzies went missing for like 8 years, supposedly to out west to the gold rush, and so I do know that that's where he was, but I would love more details on it.
Well, we have a research party coming up this Saturday that can help you with that. So we'll dig in.
Thank you.
I have one.
Okay.
Go.
For years, Marty Axe, who is another member who does a lot of work on WikiTree, and I have been trying to figure out, we both have, my maiden name is Fiscus, and he has a Fiscus line in his family, and they both go back to different men that arrived at the United States at the same time. We have Johann Friedrich Fiscus and Gerhard Fiscus, and they both came from Palatine in Germany. Well, I say that, but now that I look at Johann's, it's a little different. Anyway, they both ended up in the United States at the same time on the same boat.
Oh.
And we think they were brothers, but we cannot figure out how to find that connection. If they're brothers, then Marty and I are going to be much closer cousins, along with several other people who have the same problem. And then, of course, there's my whole Swedish line, which I just don't have the skills to research that. But the Swedish project, several members have helped me take that back to the 1600s. So I'm very grateful for that.
And that is kind of the power of WikiTree projects.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you are not a member of that project, you can still contact them and they'll still help. Paul?
They just all dove in voluntarily. I was shocked.
Well, I've got probably two mysteries. Actually, the brick wall for me is a William Marnie. I think my second great-grandfather. He was a convict sent out from Ireland for uttering. Uttering is the process of passing forged notes. I don't know if he actually forged them or not. But I don't have any history of him, and I believe that's very difficult in Ireland because a lot of the records are burned. And his partner, which I don't even really know her name, but they obviously came from the Cork area. So Marnie 6, I think he is, William Marnie, Mahoney, or Mahoney, as you probably say over there, -6, that's him. The other interesting one, though, for me is I've got my second great-grandmother was an Isabella Syme, came out from Edinburgh in Scotland. Now, she came out to stay with her aunt, who was already out here, Euphemia Bowes, who was born Allen, A-L-L-E-N, according to records. And Isabella Syme's mother was a Christian Allen, but spelled A-L-L-A-N. So if it was an aunt, Euphemia Bowes and Christian Allen should have been sisters. There's no real evidence I can find for who Euphemia Bowes or where she came from. So I'm really keen to try and link those two. So that's an interesting one too. And so most of the stories on Euphemia's page, which is Allen, A-L-L-E-N -5956. So they're my two interesting ones.
Thank you.
That I can't get any further with.
And Chris, can we help you?
Yeah, hopefully, yes. DNA solved quite a few others.
Mm-hmm.
WikiTreeers have helped me so much. I mean, my CC7 is much bigger than it would be if I did it all. Aowen has helped me. Mags Galden has helped me in particular with some things. I do have I'm missing one of my great grandparents. But I think that this one is going to be tough because it was like an adoption kind of situation. So that one will be solved someday, but I think it's just going to be too hard to sort out. A lot of my family is Nova Scotia, is like the Canadian Maritime provinces. My Witten line is, I'm from Massachusetts, and my Witten line is Massachusetts, Maine, and to the Great Migration. But when I first started on WikiTree, it wasn't until like a few years ago that a brick wall was broken there, and that was through Y chromosome DNA testing. It was through, I loved it because it was like a perfect story. It was WikiTree, cousin bait, like somebody found WikiTree saying like, oh, I think your third great grandfather is the brother of, mine. And anyway, so we took Y DNA tests and we were able to confirm that. And so like I have a confirmed line back to a Revolutionary War veteran, Richard Witten. But still, Richard Witten and his father, there's a lot that's unclear. And then, going back to, England or Scotland or Ireland is still unclear. Like I think that most Wittens in New England are related. But it's not clear who those immigrant ancestors were and their story before immigration. So yeah, like someday I'm going to investigate that more. Like I've taken a big Y test, but it means nothing to me. I don't know, it's over my head.
Well,
And I haven't had time to work on any of that. So someday I will come back to that.
I want to say that this has been very interesting, this particular question, because it just shows that we are you and you are us. We are all in the same boat, to use the nautical analogy, that we are still searching for our brick walls, still learning different things to do with the DNA and the genealogy and looking and researching sources. So thank you guys for sharing. We will get you guys the links. So we're going to throw this out to the WikiTree community to see if anybody can help. That's going to be one of our birthday bash challenges that we're going to talk about today. And I'm curious. I know my hobbies. I don't know yours. What are if you're not doing genealogy and you're not fixing any problems and you're not answering my questions a million times a day, what are you doing? What hobby would take over your time?
All right, who's starting? I guess I will.
I know we're all addicted to genealogy.
Yeah.
Well, they all come back to that. I like photography, but most of my photography is done of gravestones these days. So, right? But I do like landscape photography. That's probably a big thing. And astronomy has always been an interest, but I'm getting a bit older. I don't like the cold anymore at night. So that's died off a little bit now. So they're probably my two hobbies apart from genealogy. Yeah.
I do a lot of outdoor work, like I do landscaping and gardening. It used to be more like hardscape landscaping, building stone walls, and as my back and my knees are getting worse, it's more softer gardening. And I also have a vintage Star Wars collecting hobby.
Oh,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I'll go. I'm trying not to be the one talking all the time, but I dabble with watercolor and reading and knitting and pickleball.
Oh.
All dabbles.
I probably have a couple. One is writing, like writing, not riding a horse, like writing. So people aren't confused. I'm not writing. But I have a whole fantasy world universe that I've created a year or so ago that's like dying to get on paper, and a couple nonfiction books ideas that someday I will do. And then the one I've gotten into recently is comic books. So maybe I'd be more into comic books if genealogy suddenly went away.
I was going to say, maybe we need a Newton genealogy kids book.
Oh, that would be adorable.
That's a great idea. Okay, Aowen, get busy.
I'm on it right now.
See you later.
And Betsy?
Well, I think most people know that I'm also a musician and a teacher. So when I'm not on WikiTree, I'm spending a lot of time with middle schoolers, which I think is just an awesome compliment. I love their energy and the things I learn from them. And then, a totally different age group that I spend time with on WikiTree. It's really a great balance for me. And I guess outside of that, I do the New York Times crossword puzzle and a little cross stitch, like 15 minutes a week is all I can do.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We've got one last question for you guys. And I think it's an easy one. This should be a very, very easy one. Can you end with one word or phrase that sums up your personal genealogical journey that you've already documented on WikiTree? Who would like to take this first?
Okay, I'll go. Okay. I would say, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but like making me whole, because WikiTree is really where I've been able to bring together the adopted and the biological, and not to like harp on the great update from yesterday, but even more so now. And so I think that would be it for me.
That's a really good answer.
Thanks.
I didn't think this was an easy question. Like, to me, this kind of question was like,
no, it's a hard one.
I don't know. I even asked Aowen, like she sent me some of the questions that would be asked, and I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to answer to that?
I gave you one.
Yeah, what did you say? Like memory or legacy or something? You know.
I said your life's work.
I'll go life's work.
But it really
Good
is,
work.
Chris, because you built this. So your life's work to build this, not only mentioning your own genealogical journey, but you provided us an avenue for free for a genealogical journey.
Well, that's not one word.
Or phrase, one word phrase.
Did you phrase?
Yeah.
My phrase is rabbit hole.
Yeah, really falls in a lot.
That's my genealogical journey.
Journey.
In one, out the other, go back in. That's me.
Well, mine was just finding my own ancestors at first, but of course it's grown to so many other avenues since then. When I found I had a first fleet ancestor, as the first Europeans to the country, a convict called Anne Forbes, I decided to start a Facebook group. And then through WikiTree, I've gathered people and said, look, I've got a Facebook group. I now have 1,600 cousins in there who all descended from that convict in 1788.
Wow.
So that has been quite a journey, and I've managed to share lots of stories that I've discovered from all the different branches of that tree. It's been wonderful.
And Betsy?
The one I landed on was belonging.
And
especially when I connect into a line and realize that, oh, I actually do have a Palatine ancestor or ancestors in New England that I just really wasn't aware of because it wasn't talked about, in my recent family. It really feels wonderful to know that I'm part of this big pathway backwards and that they're my people.
And they're your people. I'm going to sum up this particular presentation in one word: discoveries. We discovered a lot about WikiTree, what powers WikiTree, the community of WikiTree, and each of you. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you to the team members that here, those that weren't able to make it. They are listed on the links that we provided for the team page. And let's celebrate with cake and see you same place, same time next year for WikiTree 18. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sandy.